Greetings, friends and future friends. This video I call Studio Shop Videos. Now, if you're like me, and you don't have a lot of money to pay somebody to come in and fix and repair things in your studio, you got to do it yourself. So I'm going to show you how you can fix and repair and adjust things in your studio. That way you can get back to work creating, whether it be videos or music or whatever you're a creator of. So let's go see if we can find something to fix. Okay, in Studio Shop today, our problem is this pedal board. Now, in a live performance, it's great to have this pedal board on the floor. But in a studio, when I'm always making adjustments to these parameters, I like to have it up high enough so that I can bend over in my chair and adjust the parameters. But it's just out of reach right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down in the studio shop, and we're going to build some brackets, build some braces or supports to bring it up about that high. If we can bring it up a couple more inches, it'll be easier for me to reach over in my chair and to make those adjustments. So let's go down into the shop and get working on that. All right, the first thing we're going to do is fire up the AC, get the shop all cooled down because we're going to be working in here for a while. Okay, I think I found two candidates for our project. This two 2x4s I had in my scrap bin. I used them on another project. I can see they're painted gold. I think if we use these guys to start with, and I noticed that the distance from here to here will just be perfect for the distance we need to raise that pedal board up. So what we're going to do now is take these over to the sander, sand them up, and maybe what we'll do if we can is drill some holes in them to make them look kind of more stylistic than just a block of wood. All right, what we want to do is when I take these 2x4s and sand them off, clean them up a little better. But I can see that this belt needs to be changed. I can see it's pretty smooth. Matter of fact, I'm rubbing my hand on it and there's hardly anything going on there. So we want to change it. What we want to do is put on a new belt. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to spin this around so you can see it a little better. I'm going to take these two bolts out on the side here. What I did is I built a brace that's perfectly 90 degrees to the sanding board. So when you're sanding a board, it's perfectly 90 degrees. Problem is when you have to change the belt, you need to remove it. So take this off here. Pull that bolt out there, make sure I have the washer. So here's the bracket that I made. And you can see when it mounts in there, what it does is make sure that your block of wood or whatever you're sanding is actually 90 degrees to the sanding belt. It's really cool. Speeds things up. It slows things down when you got to change the belt, but it's really a great thing. All right, now that we got the bracket off of here, let's get our adjuster. Now what this does is adjust the axis of the front wheel, and I'll show you how that works here in a minute. So we'll loosen this up, make sure it's loose so we can get to it. And we'll pull the spring back, release some tension off that. And away we go. Oh, we have one more bolt we need to take off. And now, the blade should just slide right off the back. Keep working it back and forth. Keep working it back and forth. And boom, there we go. Now what we need to do is take the new belt, and we want to make sure that we look and see which way the arrows are going. So we know that the belt is turning this way, so the belt is actually going to go that way. So we want to make sure that when we put this on there, we want to make sure that the arrows are facing the way that it's going to turn. So we'll get it started here on the front. Get started here on the back. Got to move this up a little bit. Back, we'll get on the back here, get it up on the top. Looks like we got it started. Everything's looking good. There we go. There we go. Sometimes you got to work with it. Loosen back up again. Looking good. Everything's looking good. Now let's put this bracket on first. So, looks like everything's going into place. Now let's take our bracket that we made, put it into place, and we'll take and put these bolts in here in the side. All right, we got these bolts in the front and the bolts in the back on this main bracket. Now let's put in these bolts. Come in here like this. Line those holes up. Line this over here and line this one up. All right, get those in there. Put the nuts on. Now what we're going to do is the little bolts going in here into the side. So these two bolts we have are tight. But now what we want to do is take our combination square and make sure, okay, we got to go up a little bit. Go up a little bit. Push back. And push down a little bit. Looking good. Okay. Just down a little bit. Just down a little bit. That's perfect. We got clearance under here. Looks good. Clearance under there. And right here, we are now, go down a little bit more. We're now perfectly straight the whole way across. So now this is 90 degrees to the sanding plate. All right, so now we'll tighten down these big bolts. And just before we snug it down tight, oh my goodness. That's perfect, 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 perfect going along there. Go back and tighten this one in the back. Tighten it down. Tighten this one down. All right, now let's put tension on that belt and let's see. Now we'll turn it on. Okay, we can see the belt came over this way. So that means we need to expand this. Now that you see that we got the belt turning with the sander, we can adjust this right here. And you can see as I'm bringing it down, the belt's moving over. Because now what we want to do is center that belt. Running really good now. Turn it off, fire it back up. Everything's looking good. And now we can see that the belt is running pretty straight. It looks like it's creeping that way a little bit, so we're going to back it off. So you can see how when I go up, the belt comes this way. When I turn this down, the belt goes that way. Now the belt's centered. Looks like it's riding there pretty good. Looks like it's riding pretty even on the other side. All right. All right, we got a new belt on here. Let's get to work. So to keep the dust down when we're using this sander, I have a vacuum hooked up to this. So I'm going to turn on the shop vac. It's going to make a lot of noise, and you're probably not going to hear much. Wow, that's doing a really nice job. So they're looking pretty good. I'm going to be covering them up with black paint, but looking really good. All right, let's drill some holes in these boards, make them look more decorative. I got an 1 3/8 bit on the drill press. Got everything all bolted down. Make sure everything's locked in place. And we're going to start drilling. What we're going to do is we're going to go down the length of the thickness of the bit. Make it look like a beam. And there we go. So what we did is we went down into the wood, the thickness of the bit, and make it look more like a beam. Looks good. Hit the next one. And go to the next one. So now we have something that looks pretty cool. We have a piece of wood with some notches in it to make it look really cool. Now this is going to be on the outside, so I'm not too worried about this backside. But what we want to do is maybe put a little chamfer going around this, make it look a little nicer. So let's look down through our router bits, and I think what we'll do is we'll go right here with a half round. I think this is the one we're going to use. Now when using any power tools, I like to clamp my work down, especially when using a router, because you're going to be putting all your pressure on cutting the wood. So let's fire this bad boy up and let's cut a nice groove on that. Wow, that looks really cool. Got a nice little groove in there. Looks a little professional. Let's go over and do this side. So we'll type that down. Now, when you're routing in the ends are always hard to do because you're going actually against the grain. But let's tap this in here, get that one done. Wow, that really made that thing look cool. It's got a little bit of brace around it. Again, this is going to be the inside. If you come into my studio, you're only going to see this part, the front. That looks really good. So let's do the second one. Wow, that looks awesome. That just added. So when we put these in here, the next step will be cleaning them up with a little bit of sandpaper. I think I got some sandpaper down here. So we get a little bit of sandpaper on here. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That really looks nice. You know, I might have to do the back with this beam because it's going to sit in. I think that'll look good. So now we got the sandpaper out. We'll sandpaper these edges a little bit. See, that groove looks really nice in there. Boy, these turned out really nice. I get some black paint on them. They're going to look really good. But let's sand these down a little bit more. Get these edges off right here. That looks great. Get this other one here. Get that over there. Sand that down a little bit on that edge. That really looks nice. Okay, I guess it's now off the paint. So the more I looked at this, I thought, you know what, some extra time. So on the back side, I put a bevel. So if you look down the center, now it looks like a little bit of a beam. Pretty cool stuff. That way, I mean, it's going to be under that pedal board, and when you walk in the studio, you'll see this and see a nice design, and this little bit of a chamfer will look pretty cool. But it's actually going to be under the pedal board, so nobody's going to really see it. But it turned out really nice. So now all we got to do now is put some paint on it and get back up to playing guitar. Now we have our two pieces all ready to go. I painted them, and I didn't want to take the camera out there where I was painting them in case I'd got paint in the camera. But they turned out really nice, and they have a little bit of a satin finish, and you can't really see it that well in the camera, but they have that look like of a steel beam, like a little miniature steel beam. They really turned out really well. So let's install them. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this beam, make sure we take, I think it was this one, put it like this, and pick up our piece and stick it under there. Looks like we got it. Maybe we can pick this side up, slide it in there, and then we'll pick this side up, slide it under there, and it looks, oh, that's perfect. And make sure that's in place. Make sure it slides out as far as we can get it. And this piece is slid out as far as it can go. So now we have the Headrush pedal board up on these new mounts we just built. And it's really turned out well. I can reach in here and turn my buttons on. And it's below this plate right here, or this mount for the frame of the keyboard. And all the wires can go under it, so it's the perfect height. And it's perfect. It's just nice and solid. And now, because we raised it up 4 inches, when I'm sitting on my chair in here and I want to adjust the guitar sound, I can just reach over and touch it. So this has been a job well done. So I hope this video showed you that you can fix and repair these things yourself. That way you don't have to have someone else come in and do it. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. You'll help us grow the channel. That way we can fix more stuff. So take care, my friends, and thanks for watching.